Anna stood in front of the mirror in her small bedroom, a half-empty closet spilling onto the bed behind her. Dresses were draped over the back of a chair. A rejected pair of heels lay on the floor, and Anna's expression was somewhere between amusement and frustration. She didn't go out much, not since taking over the shop. Invitations had grown sparse, and the idea of being invited to dinner, a proper dinner, was something she'd stopped imagining a while ago. She sighed, tugging at the hem of a... By the time she arrived at the restaurant, Anna was feeling a mix of nerves and anticipation. The place was Willowbrook's finest, a warm, ambient restaurant with soft lighting and elegant decor. Anna didn't visit places like this. Through the large window, she saw Ben already seated, looking calm and composed. When he spotted her, he stood, a small smile pulling at his lips. "You made it," he said warmly as she approached. "You didn't make that hard to do," she teased lightly, gesturing at the grand restaurant. "This is a bit fancier than I expected." Ben chuckled. "Only the best." Once seated, the tension Anna had felt earlier began to ebb. The conversation flowed easily, about little things at first, memories of the park, funny stories from the shop. But as the evening unfolded, Anna found herself relaxing more than she'd expected. She talked about the shop, how much she loved it, but also how much it was weighing her down. She admitted things she hadn't even fully acknowledged to herself, how she felt like she was running in circles trying to keep it open, how she didn't know if she could hold on to it much longer. Ben listened intently, his brow furrowing slightly as she spoke. He didn't interrupt, didn't try to fix things. He just listened. When she finished, he leaned forward, his voice low and steady. "Anna, what you're doing, it matters. It's more than just a shop. It's your heart. And that's why people see it as more than a business. They see you." His words landed gently but deeply, and for a moment, Anna felt the tightness in her chest ease. The rest of the dinner was lighter, shared stories, easy laughter, and a connection that felt effortless. When they stepped out into the cool night air, Ben offered to walk her home. The streets of Willowbrook were quiet, the faint glow of streetlights casting long shadows as they strolled. They stopped in front of her door, the silence between them filled with unspoken thoughts. "Thank you," Anna said softly, "for tonight. I needed this." Ben smiled, his hands in his pockets. "So did I." Their eyes met, and for a moment, it felt like time had paused. There was a closeness, a warmth that hadn't been there before, but neither moved. "Good night, Anna," Ben said finally, his voice just above a whisper. "Good night, Ben," she replied, her lips curling into a soft smile as she stepped inside, her heart beating faster than she wanted to admit. As the door clicked shut, she leaned against it, her mind swirling with thoughts she wasn't ready to name. The soft glow of mid-afternoon sunlight filtered into the shop, painting the floor in golden hues as Anna handed a carefully wrapped garment to her last customer of the day. "Thank you so much, Anna," the woman said, her voice warm. "You've outdone yourself again." Anna smiled, tucking a stray hair behind her ear. "I'm glad you like it. Let me know if there's anything else you need." The bell above the door jingled as the woman left, her figure disappearing into the bustling street outside. Anna glanced at the clock on the wall. Another day almost done. She stretched lightly, her body still carrying a pleasant weariness from the night before. Dinner with Ben. Her thoughts flickered back to the easy laughter, the way he'd listened so intently when she'd opened up about the shop, She'd barely slept, her mind running over everything they'd talked about and the strange warmth that had lingered long after he'd walked her home. The bell chimed again, pulling her from her thoughts. She turned toward the door, and there he was. Ben. It felt surreal, seeing him again so soon. He stood in the doorway, the sunlight spilling in behind him, and then he smiled. That same warm, effortless smile that had been haunting her since the night before. That smile. Seriously, Brain? Not again. Anna glanced away quickly, pretending to fuss with a nearby spool of thread, her heart doing a little flip. "Hey," Ben said as he stepped inside, his voice calm but warm. "Hey," Anna replied, her tone deliberately casual. "You're cutting it close. I was just about to close up." Ben chuckled softly, taking a few steps toward her. "Good timing then. I wanted to talk to you about something." Curiosity flickered in Anna's eyes. "Oh?" She walked to the door, flipping the sign to closed and locking it before turning back to him. "All right, let's talk. Come on, it's a mess back there, but we'll have more privacy." Anna led him into the back room, where the chaos of her workday was on full display. Bolts of fabric leaned against the walls, sewing patterns were scattered across tables, and spools of thread cluttered every surface. Ben took it all in, his eyebrows lifting slightly. "Wow, this is a lot." Anna laughed lightly, shoving some patterns aside to clear a space. "It's organized chaos. Have a seat." Ben sat down, his posture relaxed but his eyes serious. Anna leaned against a table, crossing her arms. "So, what's on your mind?" Ben hesitated for only a moment before leaning forward. "I've been thinking about the shop," he said. Anna blinked, a little surprised. "The shop?" "Yeah," he replied. "And what you said last night, about how hard it's been to keep it going. I think there's a way to change that. To get more people to see what you're doing here." Anna tilted her head, intrigued but cautious. "I'm listening." Ben's face lit up with the same quiet enthusiasm she'd seen flashes of before. "I organize events all the time at the school. Sports days, fundraisers, family activities. And I was thinking, what if we did something like that for your shop?" Anna raised an eyebrow, a teasing glint in her eyes. "A sports day for sewing?" Ben chuckled, shaking his head. "Not quite. I mean events that bring people together. Family crafting nights here in the shop. You could teach parents and kids how to sew. Simple stuff, like fixing buttons or making small projects. Seasonal workshops for holiday decorations or costumes. And..." He hesitated briefly. "You could even come to the school, show the kids what you do. Some of them might love it." Anna stared at him, her mind racing to keep up. "You really think people would be interested in that?" "I know they would," Ben said, his tone confident. "You're not just selling clothes, Anna. You're creating something special. People just need to see it. And you. I think this could work." Anna's arms dropped to her sides as she processed his words. It felt big. Too big, maybe, but also possible. And it had been a long time since she'd felt that kind of possibility. "And you'd help with this?" she asked cautiously. Ben nodded without hesitation. "I'd handle the logistics, help spread the word, and even help run the events if you want. It's what I do, organizing stuff. You just need to say yes." Anna let out a soft laugh, shaking her head in disbelief. "I don't even know what to say." "Say you'll think about it," Ben replied with a small smile. Anna smiled back, the warmth in her chest undeniable. "Okay, I'll think about it." Ben stood, brushing his hands on his jeans as he glanced around the room again. "Good," because I think this place could be something amazing." As they walked back to the front of the shop, Anna's mind buzzed with the possibilities Ben had laid out. It was overwhelming, sure. It felt like maybe, just maybe, things could change. "Thanks, Ben," she said softly, her voice carrying a sincerity she hoped he could hear. He smiled again, and this time Anna didn't look away. "Anytime," he said, his tone as steady as ever. As the door closed behind him, Anna leaned against the counter, her thoughts a mix of hope and uncertainty. The night before had left her with questions about what might come next. But today, she felt like she wasn't facing those questions alone.